Welcome to the 19th podcast of Soulful Thoughts from Ireland, where I weave stories, reflections, personal experiences, and our collective experience at this time. Today, miracles. Do we really believe? The only reason miracles don't happen anymore is because we don't believe in them. These are the words of St.Teresa of Avila, the great Spanish mystic. She continues to say, and I'm paraphrasing here, that for miracles to happen, we also need to remove our own will so that they actually can happen. Contemplating this, my mind is drawn back to the time of my very rushed departure from the US in March this year, 2020, which I speak of in the very first podcast of this series. As I was packing and storing things away, I knew that I would return to the US for a short time, sort all my things, and return to Ireland to live. Yet I had no idea how that may happen. And was it really possible? It was known that it is very difficult to get residency here. My mind periodically tried to figure out how this moving to Ireland may occur. Even when Cailleach, the great Celtic crone and mother, assured me she would take care of it all, my mind still felt it had to find the solution. What a waste of internal energy. This is something Teresa of Avila was well acquainted with. Faced with many impossible situations, she set about, and sometimes quite obsessively so, trying to work out how solutions would be provided. She also experienced great anguish and depression when her own mind couldn't come up with the answers. I'm sure there's many of us that join her in this to varying degrees. But now I'm delighted to say, in a few weeks, I am returning to the United States to sort my things, and then returning to Ireland to live. In fact, by the time you listen to this, I will have received my Irish resident card. How did that happen? In ways that I could have no way conceived. A conversation with Mary at the post office, which opened the doorway to a conversation with Bridget, which opened other doorways, and on it went, step by step. However, there was also something vital to this miracle unfolding. I had been to visit my great-great-grandmother's birthplace. You may have listened to that podcast, my ancestral birthplace. If not, please do listen to this magical and deeply rooted visit. It left me feeling, without any doubt whatsoever, that I belonged here in Ireland. So, when I had my next visit to the immigration officer, I relayed my deeply emotional visit to my granny's birthplace, and resolutely spoke that I belong here. From there, all miraculously unfolded with great ease. An Irish seer here in Ireland said to me, "God listens to you." I wondered at the time exactly what that meant. Now I know. It means that when I know something within my being, with no doubt whatsoever, then it comes to pass. What does a miracle mean? It means that when I don't meddle or try to find my own solutions or enforce my own will, all sorts of seemingly impossible things can occur. It seems to me these two ingredients are needed for things to unfold miraculously in our life: the knowing without doubt and the releasing of how things will come to be. This, and continuing to walk in faith, in knowing, even when there is no indication that things are unfolding in the way we desire or have been shown. Behind the scenes of our vision, things are always eternally unfolding. And of course, we always have to be prepared for change, for it will come upon us when we least expect it, as we have all witnessed and lived into for some time now. So here is the question for us all. Can we align our will to our best possible life? And then, can we release all expectation as to how that life will unfurl? It truly is an art to be aligned and in surrender at the same time. Enter Teresa of Avila and so many wonderful enlightened saints and beings who have walked before us in this way and are still walking with us. Enter Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, two beings who were deeply aligned and surely were shocked and then deeply surrendered to the human unfurling of their lives. It certainly puts our walking in the unknown into perspective. And how do we navigate our way into the depths of the unknown that we are all living? Who or what are we depending on in these times? Can we live into our nature that remains unperturbed no matter what the circumstances? Let nothing frighten you. Let nothing disturb you. Everything passes. She who has the beloved has everything. Again, Teresa of Avila's words slightly paraphrased. Flowing with the rhythm of our own being, with our own life, allows magic to happen. Is there a difference between magic and miracles? They really are one and the same, depending on our linguistic preference. It really comes down to a dimensional thing. That is, it is something outside of our rational plane of existence, where the seemingly impossible occurs. Or it may be something so simple, like the magic of a flower unfolding its petals. I remember going to a friend's place in California in the evening, where we would watch the night primrose magically open. One had to be very focused, as it would happen quickly, and we would shimmy and squeal in delight every time one of the flowers burst forth into their perfumed majesty. It was both magical and a miracle. It is these small acts of nature that can open us to the greater miracles in life. The trouble is, we often only pray for a miracle when things are really bad and as a last resort. And if they don't happen, we can become dejected and lose faith in ourselves and in miracles as well. Could this be why we don't really believe in miracles anymore? I think so. Yet, if we gradually flex and build our magical muscles by acknowledging them in small ways, then we can slowly take on heavier weight miracles in our world. And bringing us back here to Ireland, many of you who have visited here know there is a magical quality to the land. And why? When there has been centuries of belief and communion with the other realms so close by, then the veils are thin. The physical dimensionality is not fixed or solid. Everyone knows that here. Even if they don't outwardly believe or participate in those ways anymore. As a friend here said, if you keep scratching beneath the surface of anyone here, they will all tell you a story of their own experience or a loved one's experience with the other worlds. And of course, what we are speaking of here also relates to that kingdom or queendom of God, which is near at hand. When Yeshua spoke these words, he was not talking about time as something close to approaching, but rather that it is so close to us if we can open our minds and hearts to a broader vision of another reality. It is indeed right here if we can allow it to reveal itself. For those with eyes to see and ears to hear, as Yeshua was fond of saying. So in these times, let us appreciate the small miracles of everyday life, restoring our joy, our faith and belief in other ways than are currently being presented to us. For the sake of our souls, we need to. For the sake of our world, we have to. All I have spoken of here is the very work we will be doing in the next online course that I'm offering, Living into the Unknown. This is happening from October the 7th to November the 11th. And it will also be recorded, so you can join live or listen to recordings in your own time. And just a word here, previously the wrong fee template was in place on the website. So please do visit again for reduced fees and a much more wallet-friendly version. So all on my website at meghandon.life or the sanctuaryofsophia.life. I do hope that you will join us and really bring forth what we are really needing at this time, as we are all living into the unknown, as we are all needing magic and miracles in our personal lives and in our collective life. So there will be one more podcast in this series, and that won't be posted until later in October to celebrate Samhain, the Feast of the Dead and the Dying. I'll be taking a break for a little while to arrange my life and to teach the class online coming up. So until then, wishing you the magic and miracle of your own life. Shalom.